I got a couple of videos here about immigration that I want to talk about, actually. Deportations, because that's what it's come down to now. It's not immigration or legal immigration we're worried about, it's deportations and who we should be and should not be deporting. So we got this commercial here. I'm sure you've seen these political, hyperbolic political commercials. Let's dive into this one. It's pretty fun.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, me too. I really look.
Oh no, not the big booty Latina. They got her. They take her away.
What are you doing?
She's coming with us.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're rounding up illegals.
She was born here. She's a citizen.
I don't care. She looks like one of them. But don't worry. When she's in prison in El Salvador, she'll have lots of company.
It looks like he's saying he's the one who's going to be in prison with her. That's ridiculous. These things are so stupid. It's the Republican congressmen who are rounding up the illegals. Oh, no, they're rounding up anybody who doesn't look like a white person. What are you talking about? This woman looks pretty Caucasian overall, but there are Hispanic people that I have met here in California who I wouldn't even know. They have blue eyes, blonde hair. You wouldn't know. It's happened to me so many times. I could go on about stories and stories about this. How there are Hispanic people that look like they are white. And they'll say, oh, people are so racist against us. I'm like, what are you talking about? It has nothing to do with your race. Well, they hear us talking and then they know that we're not from around here, so they tell us to go back to our country. And I'm like, well, that's not race, then, is it? Because anybody can speak any language. So they don't know what they're talking about. It's ridiculous. It's giving the warning. The homegrowns are next. Well, that'd be illegal. You can't just kick citizens out of the country. If they were born here, they're here. That's it. That's just how it is. If you don't like it, then change the laws so that people stop coming. People are just coming in droves. And we already have the laws to keep them out, but we let them come anyway. And it's so outrageous how these things are. But of course, this Progress Action Fund to keep citizens from being deported. Really? Okay. All right then. That's not going to happen. We're not going to be deporting citizens. If you want to have a race war, we can have a race war. Just go ahead and keep pushing. Keep pushing for it. Now, I want to move on. I got this woman here on. I saw her on Twitter, just going off about deportations. This is a great video.
I don't want to hear another white person say the word illegal for
Illegal. Oh, you probably can't hear me.
the rest of my goddamn life. We are living on stolen land.
Stolen land, really? Now, sure, there were terrible interactions between the settlers, the colonizers, and the Native Americans, but I'll let Chief Seattle explain this to you.
The president in Washington sent word that he wishes to buy our land. But how can you buy or sell the sky? The land? The idea is strange to us.
See, the Native Americans didn't have a concept of ownership of land. They can't own land. So how is it that we stole it if they didn't own it? It was free for us to take, and we offered to purchase it in many cases. Now, you might be speaking hyperbolically and saying, like, oh, well, it was rightfully theirs because they were here first. They have first dibs on it. We come in and we just kick them off, push them to the side, and do whatever we want to do with the land. But again, we purchased a lot of this land. And you're also talking about the story as old as humans understanding they can control a piece of land. And you see this with people all the time. I have that. I want it, it's mine. And then somebody else is like, no, they didn't even want it before, but then they see that you have it and they want to get it from you. Crabs in a bucket. Crabs in a bucket is what this is. And if you like my work, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed. YouTube does unsubscribe people. You can find me on Rumble and on Twitter. Let's get back to this video.
Our ancestors forcibly and violently seized this land from the indigenous peoples who were living here for generations before we ever showed up. We do not get to call them illegal.
Well, we're not calling the Native Americans illegal. The ones who were born here. And I've always said, look, if you have this country in the United States, the way it's got to be is that the people who founded the country, those are going to be the Europeans, and the Native Americans are going to be citizens. That's just how it is. Because we're all here, like, the whites made the country, the Native Americans were here already, so what are we going to do with them? Oh, kick them out of this place that we decided is ours now? That doesn't, no, we can't do that.
We don't own the fucking planet.
Nobody owns the planet. And I would imagine that the place you're living in right now looks like it's pretty nice. Do you own it? Is it in the United States? Seems kind of hypocritical to me.
Nobody does. We are evolved monkeys with opposable thumbs who use them to write little monkey scribbles on a slice of tree, and we call it a birth certificate with our little monkey sounds.
Yeah, that's actually pretty impressive, actually. That's actually pretty impressive. So, evolutionary scientists will tell you that, like, the hand is no mean feat. And the way the hand came to be is through mutation, right? That made it more flexible, more agile, more dexterous than it used to be. And that allowed for that dexterity in the hand to be advantageous for the recipients of it. They made more offspring until that characteristic of the hand became dominant. And then, hey, mutation happened in the brain, which also conferred a advantage to allow for more offspring. And then the hand went and evolved in some way. And then the brain, and then back and forth between the two, working together, working off of one another to allow for us to put people on the moon. Vocal cords, we have our little monkey sounds. Our little monkey sounds, yeah. What other animals have a language, actual language? Maybe dolphins, maybe. Other animals have communication, they can communicate, but do they have actual language where they define the names of things? No other animal does that. That's pretty impressive. And we figured out how to bake a piece of tree. Take a piece of tree, and I can put little things on that tree with my evolved hands, and I can give that piece of tree to somebody else, and they'll understand it. And that's pretty impressive. So shut your hole.
All of it is made up. None of it is real. And
Then what are you doing on the internet? Nothing is real. What are you doing here?
it doesn't fucking matter. And it's certainly not a valid.
If it doesn't matter, then why do you care about the kids? She's going to go into the kids here. She's going to rip it terrified. If nothing matters. You already said it doesn't matter. Oh no, it's just the hand, language, writing, and the invention of paper. Those things don't matter. You're allowed to have people be wherever they want to be. There should be no consequences to their actions.
Reason to rip a terrified, screaming child away from his weeping mother. And I am tired.
Okay. Well, if you break the law, that's what happens. Doesn't matter what crime it is. If you break the law and the police have to take you, then your children are going to be taken away from you. That's how it works. It's not okay necessarily, but those are the breaks. Don't break the law. You won't have that problem.
Of being made to feel like I'm crazy for being angry about this.
Yeah, but see, you are crazy. That's the problem. You don't have a global picture here. You think that people can just go wherever they want to go, whenever they want to go there, and there should be no consequences. It's fine if they come here legally, and then they leave when, their visit runs out, we'll say. It would be the same way if I went to any other country. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Capitalism is just narcissism as an economic system. Imperialism is just narcissism as a foreign policy.
Well, you can say that about capitalism. I think it's not exactly inaccurate. However, capitalism has done more to help the world than it has to hurt it, so I don't know what to tell you. It just really has. Yeah, it's narcissistic in nature. It's all about self-preservation, self-aggrandization. Yeah, get what you want. Imperialism is narcissism as a foreign policy, though. No, that's a bit glib, because you could say that about any country. And how many countries would be imperialist if they could be? They could get their act together, become imperialist. How many of them would? All of them. All of them. All of them want more land, more resources. They want to make sure their neighbors know who's boss. Would be retarded.
If the lion can't claim the safari for himself and call the elephant illegal, then neither the fuck can we.
But if the lion could, he would. The reason the lion can't do that is because he doesn't have these things called hands and monkey sounds, as you so put it. So really it comes down to you just being an unhinged lunatic, and this is why people are calling you crazy. There's no such thing as cultural relativism, okay? This woman doesn't know what she is talking about. Human beings adapt to their environment. When tribes people were taken out of the jungles and brought to the savannas, they did not understand what they were seeing. They had no concept that there could be such an open land before them. She has a very global view of the world. A very global view of the world. And you might be thinking, what are you talking about? There's no way. This woman is in India. She clearly doesn't have a global view of the world. Well, she knows what an ocean is. She knows what a continent is. She doesn't know what a country is. She doesn't have that concept. She knows what oceans and continents are. Islands. She knows what those are, too. So, 500 years ago, do you think an Indian tribe living in the center of what is now the United States knew what an ocean was? Do you think that maybe they just thought land was everywhere? No matter where you went, there was going to be land. That was it. There was rivers, lakes, land. Mountains, forests, maybe deserts, all the different things that are on land, but land. How would they have a concept? They've never been to the ocean. How would they have a concept of an ocean, of this body of water that we live on a ball hanging in space that is mostly covered in water? How would they understand this? They wouldn't. They wouldn't have a concept of that. They could maybe come up with a weird myth about it, but then they would probably want to try to explain that. How would they explain, well, there's water all over the place. Where'd that water come from? We couldn't even explain that. We had to figure out, how did Earth get its water? We had to do scientific studies to figure this out. And we knew, well, it's got water, so how did it do it? Can't just make stuff up. So she doesn't know what she's talking about. When colonists showed up here and said, look, we're from a different part of the world. How do I explain to you there's this humongous body of water between here and where we came from? And we traveled across that body of water to get here because we wanted to try to have a better life for ourselves. Story again, as old as human history. Maybe it's not right, but this is the way it is. There's a lot of things that aren't right that I wish were different in the world, but this is how it is. You're not going to change this fundamental behavior of human beings for them to migrate, move around. Like we're trying to do now in this country, trying to stop it from happening. And we could stop it from happening the way that it is, but still we have legal immigration. We still haven't stopped that. We should. But anyway, I just thought that these two videos were pretty interesting and could throw in some of my knowledge about Native Americans and culture and stuff like that. So again, I thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video.